Snow is the Lord Patron of Yusnaan. If anyone's supposed to protect the people, it's him. But instead, he's hiding away in that palace, presiding over endless banquets. It doesn't look like he's doing a thing to stop the chaos. Is that right?
Are conducting a search for the
Yes, and the situation is growing critical. If the city is lost to the chaos, it'll be the beginning of society's collapse.
Citizens are asked to report.
All of the people left in this world depend on the goods that are made and distributed from here in Yusnaan.
So this city is humanity's lifeline, and the last remaining bulwark is...
If you run, you'll end up being...
This will soon be over.
Salvation. A warrant has been issued for the arrest of the woman savior herself. She has rose-colored hair. She is
The champion's quarter.
extremely dangerous.
What do you think you're playing at, selling that poison?
Matching this
Make me
description
stronger.
to the nearest security
It
officer.
almost killed me.
I did warn you that the use of my concoctions is not without risk. In short, you were warned.
Not without risk? You're a crook and a charlatan, you hear me? Huh? I'm done with this place.
A pit of violence and a...
Did you really sell poison to that man?
Of course not. It was a fortifying brew with centuries of alchemic theory behind it. I assure you it should be highly efficacious for most users. Sadly, it appeared to disagree with that gentleman's liver, or perhaps spleen.
You're an alchemist, right? Don't you people claim to be able to turn lead into gold or something? I don't think I buy it.
That is an unfortunate stereotype, all too common. Alchemists are natural philosophers. The search for ultimate
Mysteries of the...
It is, unfortunate.
Right.
This location, they are
Untested?
Perhaps you... You see, I've tried mixing two kinds of highly potent poison.
All right, I'm game.
It will lift your spirit. Then this potion...
So I'm supposed to drink it during a battle.
Yes, that would be the perfect time. And afterwards, don't forget to come back and tell me how wonderful it is. Please note that my potions are provided without warranty.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon.
I'm a big fan of
Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
What is this?
The flames get me all riled up.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon. Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
It's no... Welcome! A customer! This is so exciting! What can I get you?
Well, what do you serve?
Anything you want. How about the chef's special made from top-quality recycled materials? Deep-fried niblet hair bowls.
Are you sure that's actually edible?
Oh, yes, it definitely won't kill you, I can guarantee it. And since you're...
Nothing ventured.
That's the spirit. Take the plunge. Well, does it make your taste buds sing? Are you transported to culinary heaven?
This is...
Too tart? Too much salt, perhaps? I can brush it off if you like.
No, it's actually really good.
God, that is a relief. I mean, of course it's good. I knew you'd love it. I've been working on the recipe for weeks. Unfortunately, it's not very nutritious. People are more health conscious these days, which is...
Nutritious or...
I think it must be. I've been living on the...
You've got the chops to be a good cook, though.
Now that I hear there's a... I'll bet... No,
And what is it?
Gordon Gourmet. Despite his fame, he's hard to track down. If you do happen to run into him, could you tell him about CDs?
Gordon Gorman.
You are far...
Remember, the tour meets up in front of the gate of the industrial area in the lower city.
She has rose-colored hair.
You'll have to be there at 6 p.m. Make sure you're not late, or they'll leave without
They're
you.
asked to report persons
This is the
matching
famous
this
banquet.
description
Hello,
to the nearest
welcome.
security officer.
Business is good.
It is, thank you. Word of our shop's special flavor has quickly spread through word of mouth. This city is known for its gourmet restaurants, but none can hold a candle.
The best chefs in the city, huh? Lackley mentioned his missing fiancée was a great cook. I wonder.
Ma'am, is there something I can help you with?
I hope so. I'm looking for someone by the name of Filiana. According to her fiancé, she was a fantastic cook. Does this ring look familiar to you at all?
Oh, yes, of course. I recognize that. The woman was a wonderful... Though the strange thing is, I never knew her by the name of Filiana.
She may have assumed another name. Was the woman you knew beautiful enough to turn the head of every man in the room?
Now, this is taking quite an odd turn. She was no doubt a very handsome woman, but very advanced in age. I suppose she must have been beautiful enough to turn heads once, but she was undeniably an old woman. Of course, we are all old now, that we don't age, but she must have been quite elderly already when time stopped for all of us.
An old woman? I suppose that can't be Lackley's lost fiancée, but where is she now?
I'm afraid I don't know. The lady in question fell ill and left our restaurant. I believe she moved to Luxarian to live with the support of an old friend there.
Do you know how to reach her? Or that friend of hers?
Unfortunately, she was a young woman, and if...
I see. Lackley's ring. It's possible Filiana sold the ring. I'm not looking forward to telling Lackley about it. Tell me, are you the famous food
Possibly. I do boast a certain renown. I see. CD's restaurant, you say?
So,
Oh, no.
I can't
Impossible. This city is overflowing with restaurants crying out for the deft helping hand of Gordon Gourmet.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon. Citizens are asked to report persons matching
Welcome.
this description to
We
the
have a
nearest
popular
security
selection of
officer.
sweets. Our customers come here to put down their shopping bags and rest. We put a lot of...
That was useful information, but you still have more to learn. You should visit more restaurants in the Glutton.
Step right up! Get the
Palace
best
guards
meat and
are
kebabs
conducting
in
a search for the
Yusnaan!
intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous
Our meat is
weapon.
shipped directly from grilling and
They're
roast,
asked
and
to
we do
report
that!
persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
Light on Glutton.
Every one of our fish is fresh caught and delicious. We get our a chef is even...
You're gonna be a real food connoisseur by the time this is over. You just have 3 more restaurants left to visit.
Welcome. How can I be of help?
From the elegant simplicity of straight spirits on the rocks, to cocktails can be... Everyone has their own preference.
2 more places, Light, and you'll admit. This is the Glutton's Quarter. A paradise for gourmands that serve up dishes from every culture.
Come enjoy the healthy fruits of the earth! Even kids who hate vitamins.
Almost there, Light. You have one more restaurant left to visit.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon. Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
Nothing but the best food.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon. Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security
Welcome!
Come on, still give us a try.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored hair and is carrying an enormous weapon. Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security.
Welcome, everyone, to the...
Visit the restaurants of the Gluttons.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior.
Everyone who signed
She
up
has
for the tour to see the
rose-colored
show
hair
is meeting up
and
at
is
6
carrying
p.m.
an enormous weapon.
Welcome.
Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security
When offering a
officer.
complete dining experience to discerning, one must always anticipate the needs. I am constantly assessing our customers' want.
Well, you visited all the best.
Well, how goes the culinary tour?
I did what you suggested. I visited the top restaurants in the neighborhood.
That is excellent news. So now let me give you the advice I promised. If Seedy's restaurant wants to turn its business around... wait, let me ask you something first. You've eaten at Seedy's and at the best establishments in Yusnaan. Why don't you tell me what you think is the main difference between the two? I'd be interested to hear your opinion.
Why? Is this some kind of test?
Yes, exactly. Now tell me, what did all the successful restaurants have in common that poor old...
Let me see. Everyone I spoke to was helpful. They seemed honest and open. I don't think they were lying to me, but something seemed off.
Oh, would you care to elaborate?
Well, it almost felt like they were hiding something from the customers. But it wasn't as if they were deliberately lying or trying to... In fact, I don't think they realized it themselves. They thought they were telling me everything they... Yes, that's it. It was unconscious, like an instinct. They were hiding something, but they weren't doing it deliberately at all. I'd say the very best chefs, restaurant managers, and bartenders all share some...
What a wonderful... It is as you say, and finding that, in other words...
Then what about Seedy's?
I can tell you this, the chef there already knows his secret. The talent is there. Unfortunately for him, the secret spice that gives his dishes flair is extremely rare. He cannot secure supply. Let me be specific. Once upon a time, Seedy's recipes all featured the spice commonly known as civet musk. But then supplies dried up and the restaurant fell into a long decline.
You seem to know a lot about Seedy's.
Well, a long time ago, let's just say...
Fine by me. All I need to know is that if I can find this spice, the restaurants should start bringing in...
Yes, exactly. The problem is the spice is not easy to find. In fact, the only way to acquire it would be to defeat certain monsters. Such a shame. All for want of a single spice, his restaurant is failing. He has the recipe for success.
What do you say, Light? Do you feel like you've learned all there is to know?
Listening to scraps of advice from chefs won't make me an expert. Besides, most of what they told me was common sense, and they didn't tell me anything I hadn't heard before.
Maybe you should go back and talk to a real expert. Go to the Banquet of the Lord and see what Gordon Gourmet has to say.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior.
Don't even high.
That's it, Light. You found some civet musk. You should head back to Gordon Gourmet and see what he advises you to do next.
Persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
Everyone stays at breakfast for me.
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored
Civet
hair and is
musk.
carrying an
Well, now that you mention it, I did use it in...
asked to report persons matching this description to
I
the
knew
nearest
this...
security officer. Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling herself the Savior. She has rose-colored
I recognize
hair
that
and is
fragrance.
carrying an
Thank you
enormous
indeed.
weapon.
Why, if
Citizens
anyone
are
should be...
asked to
Oh,
report persons
but
matching
back to
this
business.
description
I want
the
you to take
nearest
it back to
security
Seedy's together with the
officer.
civet musk.
So,
I'm afraid. However, that doesn't...
Lightning, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Do you remember what the owner of CD's told us when we met?
you mean the story about his son that ran away from home when the restaurant started struggling? Great minds, Hope. We've both been thinking that maybe this son of his went on to become a famous food expert.
And that's why Gordon won't meet CD's owner. But he still clearly wants to help out. Let's take the civet musk and recipe to CD's.
Gordon Gourmet created a new recipe for you. You should make it with this civet musk. Do that and you'll be able to...
Why, persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
This is incredible! Everything is here in black and white! A groundbreaking dish! I'd never have thought to do half the things in this recipe. The genius of Gordon Gourmet oozes from every word.
Notice anything else?
About the recipe? This handwriting.
I think so.
He is, but more importantly...
You have nothing... Wow.
I think... Here, I've...
Sure.
This is the famous...
Palace guards are conducting a search for the intruder calling
do I
herself
smell what
the
I think I
Savior.
smell? I
She
do,
has
don't I?
rose-colored
That must be
hair
my
and is
recipe.
carrying an enormous weapon.
Yes, the owner is...
I see.
Citizens are asked to report persons matching this description to the nearest security officer.
Oh, yes. A perfect balance of fuzzy mutton and civet musk. The palate sings. It's a microcosm of culinary delight. A theme park of olfactory and gustatory attractions. And if you think that's hyperbole, I've only just begun. This is even better than I imagined. I always knew he was a skilled chef, but this...
So, why don't you go back there and help him out again in the kitchen?
Go back? What do you mean? I've never... Oh, all right. Yes, I admit it. I am indeed the son of the owner of CD. It was a long time ago, but one day we quarreled. But even after I left, since then, after many years...
You had a falling, but when your father...
So he recognizes my... The fact is...
You mustn't feel that way, my son.
Father...
My apologies to the young lady, but I won't. What do you say? Let's start over. You set out on your own, did things your own way, stayed true to yourself, working hard to it. And now look what you can do. The recipe that you created was amazing. I've never seen the likes of it before. What can I say except that I am proud of you?
But Father, I left...
Not in my wildest dreams, but worse, I wouldn't have believed you could be capable of such a thing.
It's all right. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry for abandoning...
Looks like you two have made...
Yes.
Now let's get...
We'll make CD's a...
That went well. A microcosm of culinary delight, did he say? That sounds rather tasty to me. Was it as good as he said?
Want me to pick you up some takeout?
You know what I'd prefer over that? If sometime you made me one of your specialty dishes.
I haven't spent much time in kitchens, but if you want something off a campfire grill, maybe I could rustle something up. I was never as good a cook as Sarah, but I have been told that I grill a pretty mean behemoth.